Dead no more. Patient Zero. Chapter 29. A Fox in the Henhouse. I opened the door as Cicely struggled in an attempt to cut open a pair of scrubs for Eli as she sliced her hand with a scalpel. Eli dropped the blanket as he reached out for Cicely's hand. His eyes glowed again, as did the cut on her hand, as the tissue stitched itself back together. There wasn't even a scar. Eli was able to psionically cause cellular regeneration in others, but at an expense. As he forced his energy into the repair of Cicely, it took a moment for him to replenish it. I reached out with my mind to Eli. He immediately linked with me. "You have to take it easy at first, Eli," I projected. "Baby steps." "I know, Doc. It just instinctually happened," he responded. "Welcome to the Pantheon," I joked. "So we're gods among men?" he laughed as Cicely held him up. After a few moments, Eli had replenished his energy. He walked over to me and patted my chest. He then looked me in the eyes as his eyes glowed once again. The bullet fell from my chest as the wound healed with no scar tissue. This time with Eli recovering his energy faster. It is official. Eli is a healer not only by profession, but in ability. As I watched him use his ability, I unlocked how he did it and was now able to duplicate it. I instructed Eli to get some rest as Cicely helped him to his room. I asked Joshua if he was able to follow the process with the healing ability. He believed that he had. I called Fred to the medical bay. Unlike Eli or even Naomi, my body has built up varying stores of energy to manipulate how I saw necessary. "Fred, how attached are you to your mecha hand?" I asked. No pun intended. "Doctor, your attempts at levity are not appreciated," quipped Fred. I reached down and forcibly grabbed his forearm and ripped his mecha hand off. My eyes glowed as I poured energy into his stump. At first, it looked as if an infant's hand had emerged from his stump. I poured more and more energy into his forearm as the hand matured and regrew to that of a healthy male adult hand. A few moments after I let go of his forearm, Fred's hand began to mutate to be congruent with the rest of his body. Fred stood there staring at and flexing his hand. Over and over again he flexed his hand, stretching out his fingers, peering at the veins, tendons, bones, and digits. "Doc," he said as a tear ran down his cheek. I had given up hope. He hugged me as he sobbed. He embraced me tightly. "I am forever in your debt, Dr. Marvin Harris," he said, "and Frederick Francis Finlay always settles his debts." "Fred, it was my orders that cost you your hand. I'm just glad I was able to help," I said. Unlike Eli, I felt no drain on my personal stores of energy. Again, I inquired whether or not Joshua was able to see the process of expelling energy to complete the process of tissue and bone regeneration. "I see that the cells have every part of the body encoded in them," said Joshua. "Even if an appendage is removed, it can be recreated from the blueprint recorded in the cells." "Right. However, I do not believe that premise extends to brain matter and tissue," I instructed. "But the heart, lungs, the pancreas, liver, kidneys, spleen, and the spine should be fair game." "Dad, may I ask for a favor? Will you help me with my telekinesis training?" he asked. "Jamie is a natural and is far outpacing my attempts to keep up." "Sure, son," I said. "Just allow me to fill M in on the plan." I broadcasted my intent to assist Joshua with his telekinesis to M, who decided to work with Naomi and T on her dispersal ability of stored electricity without the use of Fred's belt. Joshua and I made our way to the gym. I looked through the athletic equipment and found a softball. You know, the entire time we've been father and son, I don't think we've ever played catch, I said as I levitated the softball. I gently tossed the ball over to Joshua, who caught it with telekinesis. Back and forth we tossed and caught the ball. Good. It is evident that you understand the mechanics of tossing and catching mass, I said. You just have to adjust the amount of push and pull in accordance with the increase in mass. I had Joshua levitate a 10-pound weight plate and toss it to me. We developed a rhythm which he picked up on quickly. After a few tosses and catches, I would quickly switch out the plate with first a 15 pounds, then a 20 pounds, and finally a 25 pounds plate weight. Joshua handled the weight difference with no discernible display of struggle. Okay, are you ready to get serious? I asked as I levitated a 50 pounds plate. Hit me with your best shot, answered Joshua. Back and forth went the 50-pound plate, again with no signs of struggle from Joshua. I levitated a 100-pound plate, and Joshua pulled it from me and tossed it straight up as he caught it with ease. Now, see if you can lift different plates of varying weight at the same time, I instructed. Joshua manipulated all of the plates we had been utilizing, juggling them in the air. He had successfully superseded his limit. Okay, son, put the plates down, I instructed. You were just juggling your entire body weight. You should now be able to fly by concentrating on lifting yourself. Joshua concentrated on lifting himself as he began to levitate around the gym. Fast and slow, as he developed better control for his pitch and yaw. I'm doing it, Dad. I'm doing it, he shouted as he zipped by me. He gracefully touched down right next to me. He hugged me, and I him. His capacity to learn is extraordinary. Son, even though you and Jamie now possess the ability to keep yourselves aloft in the heavens, you still have to maintain secrecy, I said. Are you able to extend your light refracting field? If so, you should be able to keep yourself and Jamie hidden if you do decide to test your abilities outside of the bunker. Joshua assured me that he would take every precaution if and when he and Jamie decided to go out for a flight. The council extended offers of the injections to Ricky and Robert, to Vaughn, Tim, and Rodriguez. Eli also wanted to provide the injections to Cicely, Regina, Ingrid, Tanya, and Aisha. I decided to extend an offer to Rodriguez for his wife and his children when they were of age. And if wonders never ceased, Andre talked Diane into taking the injection. The abilities obtained were nominal. Tim and Vaughn became akin to Fred in their inventive prowess. The twins pretty much went the route of Gerald and his huntsman outlook. Regina and Aisha both developed telekinesis. Cicely and Tanya developed tissue manipulation like Eli, but to a lesser degree. Ingrid's mass and intellect increased like T2's, also to a lesser degree. Diane and Myrna developed mass manipulation akin to Leon's, while Rodriguez was able to refract light like Andre. Once the checkups and ability catalogs were completed, a communion of the great mind came to the general consensus that the remaining 17 doses at the disposal to the council would be filtered into the drinking water from the well of the bunker. As water from that well supplemented the water supplies at the plant and the armory, there is a possibility of a slowed, delayed, benevolent mutation. Over the next few weeks, illnesses were down. No colds or flu, no hypertension, and even reports of corrected vision and the repair of arthritic pain. Our community was evolving, not only physically, but as a community as well. Through discussions with M, T, Joshua, Jamie, and Naomi, we've agreed that our focus should pivot from that of survival to one of protection. The protection of those who don't share our gifts. When not protecting our charges, we will endeavor to perfect and manipulate our gifts and abilities. In addition to an overall abundance of good health, our communities were enjoying better than average strength, but not yet wholesale immunity to the bites of DCs or the eradication of the DC virus, as it has now been coined. I can't speak for most, but there is an air of excitement due to the expected arrival of the baby. The raiders have been gathering all types of nursery items and maternity clothing for M. M is in her 3rd trimester, and yet she still insists on the training in the duplication of the abilities of others. She is relentless in her ability to adapt to the changing landscape of gifts and their nuanced uses. Our shared psychic link has increased her adeptness in learning as I learn, and vice versa. As a new ability is discovered or copied by either of us, the other learns it instantaneously. "Babe, it is almost time for the arrival of the baby," I said. "Should you really be engaging in such a training regimen? Besides you, who knows my body better than me, lover?" she said as she kissed me. "I just want you to take it easy," I said. "What for?" she responded. "I'm damn near indestructible, and I have you to protect me." "Why tempt fate? And you are not the only to worry about," I said as I rubbed her belly. Just then, a strange sensation overcame me, as if I were missing something. But it only lasted for the most fleeting of moments. M grimaced in pain. "I think the baby is kicking," she said. "Must recognize its daddy." As I removed my hand from M's belly, I again noticed that something just wasn't right. "Doc," came a blaring projection from Eli. "Come to the lab, now!" I rushed to the lab to discover it in disarray. Everything had been tossed as if someone had been searching for something. "They're gone, Doc!" screamed Eli. "Someone stole the remaining dosages of the serum that I had hidden." Things were smashed and strewn all over the lab. Eli and Cicely were attempting to determine what, if anything else, was missing. "And Doc, my notes on everyone's abilities are missing as well," said Eli. Doc, we've been robbed," projected Fred and Vaughn. "We're in the workshop." "Go ahead, Doc," said Eli. "Cicely and I will clean up this mess." I hastily made my way to the workshop, and just like the lab, everything was tossed. "Doc, we had been working with ions in that they somehow block our telepathy, and to an extent block some of our abilities," said Fred. "All of our ionic strips that we developed are missing, as well as the data paths we had on practical applications," said Vaughn. "Try as we might, we have been unable to sense who, if any of the residents of the bunker would steal from us. There is a distinct possibility that whomever did it is utilizing our own technology to hide it from us," added Fred. "We need to call an emergency meeting to gather the great mind," I said. I broadcasted to each enhanced to meet in the meeting hall. I quickly made my way to the hall and met T, Naomi, Joshua, Jamie, and M there. "We're in the shit now," I said. "We've been burgled. Someone has stolen very specific items from us." "Marv, as I passed you in M's room, it was totally disheveled," said Di. "What's going on?" "It seems that someone is after the remaining doses of the formula," I said. "To ensure that it is neither of the enhanced, we will enter the great mind to remove suspicion." "Marv, we might have to wait on that course of action," said M. "What could possibly be more important than the security and sanctity of the bunker?" I queried. "Oh, I don't know. Just the birth of your child. My water just broke," yelled M.